Hey kids, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I am Amanda. Today I want to be doing the Authortube work in progress tag. I saw my critique partner Nat Lopez do this tag, and tags are always a lot of fun, so I figured I would do it too. Question number one is, what is the working title of your book? Right now I am writing a first book in a series. I don't know how long the series is going to be, but I'm for now calling it the Sacred Coven series. The name of the first book is The Eldest Witch. Question number two, where did the idea come from for your book? I've always had a pretty big interest in the occult, witchcraft, the Salem witch trials, etc., etc. So I always wanted to write a story about witches. Really, it just came from sitting down and being like, okay, I need an idea. I wasn't prepared to start writing it right away. I just wanted to come up with an idea that could kind of, that I could sit on and stew over. And it actually took me 2 years to actually start writing the book. And it literally came out of nowhere. I was actually working on another book when suddenly I could not get The Eldest Witch out of my head to save my life. So I went back to the idea that I originally had, which was, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 bullet points, and I kind of just kept expanding on it and expanding on it until I finally started writing the manuscript. Number 3, what genre does your book fall under? It is a young adult fantasy. Number 4, which actors would you choose to play in your movie rendition? I'm not really sure. I have to be honest with you. I do cast my characters just for me, just to have a visual, representation of what they look like, how they move, etc., etc. But the actors that I cast, for the most part, are much older than the 15-year-olds that I'm writing about. It would probably be a bunch of unknowns, to be honest with you. I more than likely wouldn't cast anyone that you would immediately recognize, maybe somebody that you recognize from a single project, but one of those actors that it kind of takes you a minute to realize where you recognize them from. I probably, would want some unknowns if there was going to be a movie version. But if you'd like to know who I casted, just for myself, I can tell you that. For Hazel, I casted Emilia Clarke. You probably best know her from Game of Thrones. She was also in Me Before You, or You Before Me. Whatever, that movie. For Jax, I casted Norbert Leo Butz. He's a Broadway guy, but he was also on the TV show Bloodlines. He's been in a lot of other shows too, just kind of smaller parts. So you may not recognize him by name, but I bet if you looked him up and saw his picture, you'd be like, oh yeah. For Vincent, I casted Leslie Odom Jr. For Rob, I casted Robin Lord Taylor. For Casey, I actually casted an unknown. Actually, I think I just found a photo of a model. That's Casey. For Violet, I don't know who this actress is. By name anyway, I don't know her, but there's Violet. And that's Ashley. Again, I don't know her by name. Question number 5. What is the 1-sentence synopsis of your book? I am really terrible at this. Okay. 7 teenagers fight for their lives while uncovering secrets from their respective families' past. Period. Hey, alright, well, that was terrible. Number 6. Will your book be self-published or represented by an agency? I think I've pretty much decided that I'm going to self-publish. And the reason being is that I want to retain all creative rights to the manuscript. I don't really want to, I want to publish it kind of on my terms kind of thing. I don't really want to sacrifice anything about it in order for it to, be published. And besides that, I'm a little bit of a control freak, just in terms of I I need to know that everything is being done, and I would prefer it done a certain way. And I mean, there is the element of, you know, if you go through an agency, they take a cut of your profits. But really it's about maintaining the creative rights. I just really want it to be my own. This is something that I have been putting a lot of time into, and I'm going to put a lot more time into it. So I just want it to remain mine, and mine alone. Number 7, how long did it take you to write the first draft of your manuscript? Honestly, like I said, I was working on another manuscript when I just could not stop thinking about The Eldest Witch, and ideas just kind of kept coming. So once I got off the ground and basically began the story, I'd say maybe I wrote it in 2 or 3 months. Number 8, what other books would you compare this story to? I mean, I guess the closest comparison, I guess, would be Harry Potter, but I don't think so. There's a lot of differences between this story and Harry Potter. First of all, I don't believe that this is a chosen one story. I believe this is more of a hero's journey, but not necessarily chosen one, since there are, 7 of them. There's not a magic school. There's not really mystical elements introduced into the universe yet. But just in terms of, I guess, a coming of age type story, I guess the only difference, well, there are a lot of differences. I mean, Harry Potter focuses on primarily one boy, whereas The Eldest Witch focuses on 7 kids. And their personal inner struggles. I don't really know that I would compare this to any book that I've read anyway. There might be one out there where, somebody could say, oh yeah, it's kind of like this book. I did tell someone the synopsis, a friend of mine from the SVU fandom, and she said, oh, that sounds a little bit like The Covenant, which is a film. But again, that kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop because it's not anything like The Covenant. First of all, The Covenant takes place in college. And secondly, it's a group of boys. My story is kind of a mix of girls and boys. And it's just, I don't know, it's just different circumstances. But it does have some historical elements to it, so I can definitely see where the connection between The Eldest Witch and The Covenant would, come into play. But as far as a book, I truly don't think that there is one. Like I said, there very well could be, and I just don't know to mention it because I haven't read it probably. Number 9, who or what inspired you to write the book? Like I said, I have always been interested in witchcraft, just, learning about it and the history of witches and where it all came from, where it all started. I always knew that I wanted to write a book about witches. I just didn't know what that story was going to be. And then, one day I just kind of sat down and I churned out about, I'd say 5 or 6 different possible plot ideas. Not necessarily all for the witch story. It was one for the witch story. I think I had an idea for a futuristic type story. I had an idea for a contemporary story, just, different ideas. And amongst those ideas was the basis of The Eldest Witch. The funny thing is that how it began, The Eldest Witch, like the idea, how the idea first started, it's not anything like that anymore. It's completely a whole different story now. It kind of morphed on its own and, in my opinion, I think grew into something beautiful. I don't know if the manuscript itself has grown into something beautiful quite yet. But the idea, I thought, was, it just, I don't know. Probably because I've never experienced that kind of, bloom within an outline before. I've never seen a story unfold like that before I've even written it. So Yeah, but as far as who or what, I mean, it wasn't really a specific person or thing other than my already big interest in witches. And lastly, number 10, what else about your book might pique the reader's interest? I believe it to be a very much character-driven novel. So there is a lot of self-discovery. There's magic. I'm pretty sure I need to add a little bit more magic. A lot more magic. But there's magic. There is a slow burn love story. There's mystery just with regard to, you know, figuring out what is really going on with these kids. Where did all of this power come from? Really terrible at promoting my own books. So this is actually kind of good for me because I will get to practice. And that's it, kids. Those are all the questions on the work in progress tag. Thank you to Nat Lopez for doing this tag and inspiring me to do it myself. Should I tag somebody? I'm gonna tag somebody. You know what? I'm gonna tag all of you. Anyone who wants to do this work in progress tag, I'll leave the questions down below. Please go ahead and do it. And I'm also going to tag Joe the Great. Be sure to follow me on social media if you are not already. I am on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I still have yet to really figure out Snapchat. I'm really most active on Twitter and somewhat on Instagram. Anyway, all of that info can be found down below underneath the questions. Be sure to hit that like button if you like this video, hit that subscribe button, ding the little bell so that you get notifications every time I post a new video. I post every Wednesday and Friday. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you next time.